Hi, it's Mary, a traditional Chinese medicine tutor and an acupuncturist in Canada.
Today's video will discuss the meaning of holism in traditional Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine thinks that the human body and its internal Zang-fu organs and parts are integrated and affect each other. So are the humans and their natural and social living environments.
Once you understand the logic of holism in TCM, you can appreciate many treatment methods used in Chinese medicine. To name a few, such as locating the root of the problem by analyzing the external signs and symptoms of a disease, treating the left side problem from the right side, treating the head problem from the leg, and vice versa, and the reason that the environmental material, such as herbs, can affect or adjust the human body's health. TCM is based on the logic of holism and from a big picture to see the interactions between humans inside and with the universe. There's two fundamental concepts we apply to our research, study, and practice of traditional Chinese medicine. First is the concept of holism. We think everything are interconnected. Another concept is our treatment is based on the syndrome differentiation on the root. It doesn't matter what disease name you are giving, we treat from the real cause of the problem. The holism signifies the unity and the integrity of a thing.
Holism in TCM has two meanings. 1. The human body as an organic whole, in which all constituent parts are structurally inseparable, functionally coordinative and interactive, and pathologically inter-influencing. 2. Human is closely related to natural and social environments.
Qi Monism, we say everything in the universe is made of qi. If everything is made of qi, the base are the thing. Under this concept, our human body itself is an organic whole or is integrated whole. Inside of it, all the internal organs, the constituent parts, which includes the Zang organ, Fu organ, the tissues like the bones, the skin, muscle, tendon, and the sense organs, everything you name it, they are coordinated to work together, interact with each other physiologically in order to function well. In a healthy state, they interact with each other. In a disease stage, or you can call it pathologically, if one part has a problem, it will affect another part. So that's we call it the holism. We think everything is one. Inside the one, they will interact with each other. Another concept is human is closely related to nature and the social environment. We humans live in between the heaven and the earth. The environment has effect on us. Besides, we as an individual person, we live in a social society. Other people will have influence on us. For example, sometimes you see one couple, one partner is very sick. They may be paralyzed, needs to be taken care of by the spouse. You will see that even though the sick person lying on the bed was one party, the another party who take care of this person becomes even mentally and physically deteriorated because they affect each other. When you think about those problems, you're not going to just think about one person. You are going to put it in a surrounding by the people, surrounded by the environment, like the season, day and night, geography. Those concepts will all has effect on the patient because under the concept of holism, we are one. This one can be small, can be big, depending on the organs you're talking about or the humans you're talking about.
Human body is an organic whole. We will discuss 1. 5 Zang-viscera as an integral whole. 2. An unity of locality and whole. 3. Knowing inside from the outside. 4. Determining the therapeutic principle and method from the whole body's condition to treat local illness.
Our body functions together with the Zang organs as the center. The center, the core of our body is the 5 Zang organs: the lung, heart, spleen, liver, and the kidney. Surrounding outside the layer, you see Fu organs, the 6 Fu organs: small intestine, large intestine, stomach, gallbladder, urinary bladder, and the triple energizer. That's the 6 Fu organs. This is the Zang-fu organs. With them, we have another, we call it the 5 body constitutes. It refers to tendon. The tendon, including sinews, fascias, all including in this idea. When you learn your anatomy, each muscle fiber wrapped by a layer of fascia. The fascia belong to the idea of tendon. Vessel, blood vessel, flesh. Here, flesh are talking about the muscle, the red muscle, and the white fat. The white fat and the red muscle belong to the idea of flesh. And then we have skin and the bone. Here, just mentioned, tendon associated with liver, the vessel associated with heart, flesh, the fat and the muscle together associated with the spleen, and skin and the fine hair associated with the lung, bone associated with kidney. And the sense organs, we know there are 7 sense organs on the face: 2 eyes, 2 nose, mouth, and 2 ears. That's 7 sense organs. Sometimes you heard that there's 9 sense organs. That would be including the lower part, the opening for urine and the opening for juice. That's generally for any humans. In female, there's 1 more. We generally say 9 orifices or 9 openings. Those parts, they are connected, working as an integrated whole, integrated one, by the connection of the meridians. The meridians are the channels, connects the internal part with the outside part, make them work together. Here, I'll just give you a brief idea where's the meridians. The meridians, you can think about a valley. 2 sides of it are the mountains. The mountains and the rivers. Those are the material where your eyes can see. But the valley is actually the empty space in between. The space in between is the valley. Make sense? If there's no space, everything's packed together, you cannot call it a valley. So meridian is exactly the space in between those components. Like you think about the muscle. The muscle is not a compact one. Each muscle, there's muscle fibers. In between each muscle fibers, there's space in between. Those space is exactly where the qi, blood, and the body fluid go through. Those are the road, the pathway for transporting the qi, blood, and the body fluid to everywhere of the body. Those parts are called meridians. Meridians is the one that you cannot see by machine, because the definition itself is the space. If it's space, you cannot see it. That's a true thing exists, but you cannot see. Like the invisible things, there's too many. Like we are talking now, we're actually interacting with each other. You can see my face, but you cannot see the ideas, the concepts floating between us. That is the invisible things. That is the qi. And in our body, the meridian is the empty space transforming the qi, blood, essence, and the body liquid everywhere. Zang organs is the center. Our whole body was built together and working together. This idea is a key concept guided our study of traditional Chinese medicine and the practice of traditional Chinese medicine. This is an example. Different organs belong to different elements, like liver belong to wood, heart belong to fire, spleen belong to earth, lung belong to metal, kidney belong to water. All the universe, everything are made of qi, but depending on how you categorize it. If you categorize it as 2, you can categorize it as yin and yang. Everything has the yin part and the yang part. Like the coin has 2 opposite sides. But then another perspective is divided everything into 5 big groups, the 5 elements, 5 groups. If things share the same characters, we categorize them together, like the liver. Liver is supposed to be flexible. If the liver hardening, there's a fibrosis hardening, your liver cannot function well. The good liver is the flexible one, like the wood. We associated liver under the category of the wood. It's just the one example like that. We're going to talk specifically about how to group everything in the universe and in our body into different elements. Here is just the idea how our body work together. Another idea about the holism is the locality and the whole are also integrated.
Unity of locality and whole means that each viscous has different functions but cooperates under organic coordination to perform an integral activity.
If you see some people has edema, the edema, you see the so swollen, you push it, not bounce back. That's an edema. What caused the problem of the edema? Problems showed on the leg can be just the reflection of internal Zang-fu organ problem. For example, we drink so many waters, and also the food contains some moistures. It supplies the function of our body. Those fluids circulates inside our body. By traditional Chinese medicine idea, it is the lung, the spleen, and the kidney mainly responsible for the distribution of water. If the function slow down, hypofunction, the water cannot be secreted out of the body in a timely manner. If they cannot move out of the body, it stays in the body. And the water is heavy, the lower limbs has the swollen, has the edema. In the local area has the swollen, you're going to combine other informations to decide is the lung has a problem, or the spleen has a problem, or the kidney has a problem. They have a different manifestations. If it's the lung has a problem, you're expecting to see people cough a lot. That's lung. If the people feel body very heavy, feels no appetite, and always has a loose stool, that is the spleen has problem. But if these people has problems of if always feel weak in the lower back, feel weak in the knee, that's the kidney involved in this problem. So you combine other informations, other manifestations to make your diagnosis, to decide which organ involved this problem. You're not going to just see, oh, this is edema, so let's find a medicine, a pill to get rid of the edema. If your pill is just to treat the edema, you actually temporarily maybe expels the water away. You're not treating the root problems. That is the idea of it. The locality and the whole are integrated. You're going to look at the interaction of locality and the whole. In this way, we can make an integrated treatment plan. Another idea about holism is we know the inside from the outside. Any problems happen inside will have manifestations from outside, will show from outside. Just like the fall, when you see the leaves falling down, you see the red leaves, the autumn is coming. You don't need to check any other things. You already know that. If you see there's a frost on the ground, that's winter is coming. The idea in traditional Chinese medicine is the lesions inside will cause the overall pathological response in the whole body. You can see that if there's change in the Zang-fu organs, qi, blood, body fluid, it will show from outside. Then you just judge the external change on the external places. From the outside, you will know exactly what's going on inside. That's we say the internal pathological changes of the viscera and the qi, blood, can be understood and judged through the external changes of the sense organs, orifices, body constitutes, complexion, and pulse conditions. Here is an example. If you look at this one, tongue examination is commonly used the way. This one looks normal. Normal tongue has light red tone body, but covered with very thin white coating. It should be moistured. That's normal. But in a diseased condition, so here is another idea. When you know what's normal, then you know what's not normal. Isn't that very easy to identify normal or not normal? You always need to know what's the standard, even though there's no standard person. But there's a common manifestations for a healthy person. Anything away from that considered to be disease or there's issues going on. The idea is based on, insight from outside. Anything wrong inside would be showed in the outside. That's the idea about holism, because our human body is an organic whole, integrated whole. Human, not just by itself, it's an integrated one. If you put it inside the environment, then human is closely related with natural and social environment. We're going to talk about from the nature perspective, years, seasons, day and night, geographical environment, and the climate change all has impact on human health. And of course, we human has close connection with our society. First idea, unity of human and nature. People has to live in an environment. That goes without saying. You cannot live in an empty space. Just no way we can survive in that way. When we are live in an environment, those environmental conditions, they are in constant change. The seasons are changing, temperature changing, everything's changing. When the environmental change, environmental factor change, our body adjusts to it. It's not like, environment is changing, we're sick. It's not. Most people stay healthy because they can adjust themselves following environmental change. Our body physically has that ability, like, it's cold, so we wear more clothes. We are hungry, then we eat food. If it's too hot, maybe turn the air conditioner on. We're trying to adjust to the environment. However, when the change in the environment out of the limit, there's an issue will happen. When we describe the environmental factors, usually we talk about 6 climate factors, or sometimes we call it 6 qi: wind, cold, summer heat, dampness, dryness, and fire. This is the 6 climate factors. We are always in this kind of an environment. Those things affect us. If we can stay healthy, those are natural factors. We live peace with them. However, if the climate change is too sharp, in summer, too humid, and rains all the time, a lot of people will be affected. We're going to have disease. Or another situation, even though the environment is okay, but these people is very, very weak. The environment factors, maybe to the general healthy person, they are just a climate factor is natural. But for certain people who are weak physiologically, they already has a weak constitution. The so-called normal factor to other people's becomes pathological factors to the person. Even you think about climate factor is the same. Depending on the person, it can be natural factor or can be the pathological factor. Those pathogenic factor, sometimes we call it evils. The evil is just talking those factors causing disease in human body. We call it evil. The evil is the direct translation of Chinese words. It referred to pathogen or pathogenic factor if it causes disease. Example, if people dancing in the rain, a lot of people can just make it a fun experience because they are strong enough, healthy enough. After soaked by the rain, they're still healthy. But some of them, they will become really sick because the water, because they are weak. This rain, this wet, dampness, and the coldness becomes the pathogenic factors. We human and the nature are really closely connected. When thinking about this, the years and the season is major factors need to combine into our consideration when we're making our diagnosis and treatment. Common sense tells you that spring is warm, the summer is hot, autumn is dry, winter is cold. There's another new idea called a long summer or late summer. Usually we say 4 seasons, but in traditional Chinese medicine, we say there's 5 seasons. This 5 seasons match the idea of the 5 elements, because 5 elements, so we have 5 seasons. In between the season change from spring to summer, from summer to fall, from fall to winter, and then from winter to spring. You know, it's a circular. In between the season change, there are 2 weeks, about 14 days. This 14 days, put it together, called late summer or long summer in TCM. This long summer associated with spring, because in TCM idea, when you look at the function of those Zang-fu organs, spring is in the center. There's opening windows in between the season change. That's called the long summer. The long summer between the season change, usually the dampness will dominate. In the summer is the heat or fire will dominate in the summer. Spring is the warm will dominate it. In the autumn, it becomes dry. The soil becomes so dry. The glass even becomes so rigid. You step on it, it makes sound. It's not soft at all. That's the season change. We humans live in between the heaven and the earth. This will definitely dry our body fluid, make us dry as well. In autumn, by comparison, you will drink more water to supplement the water loss. And in winter, goes without saying, cold. And cold will cause a lot of problems in our body. The 4 seasons or 5 seasons has a great impact on human. And also, thinking about the characters of the 4 seasons, spring is germination associated with growth, the new plants growing from the earth. In that season, in human, it will look like the youth, teenagers in the growing stage. In the summer, with the strong sun, things grow faster. So growth in summer. In long summer or late summer, there's a transformation. So-called transformation is things from one to another. Like the flute. At the beginning, there's just leaves. So starting from where the fruit started to grow, there's a change or transformation happening. For the transformation to happen, it's usually associated with late summer in nature. In human, it's the spring. The spring responsible for the transformation. Transformation is a big concept. Everything is made of qi. Why it's only made of one unit called qi, one material called qi? Why our nature and human are so diversified? So many different colorful things, various things. They're all made of qi. So where those things come from? It is because of the qi transformation. Example to understand this would be the transformation like the ice, the liquid water, and the water vapor. These 3 different things. The ice, liquid water, and the water vapor, they manifest as different things. But actually they are the same matter with different exhibition. They transform to each other under different conditions. When the temperature going up, the ice will melt, become the liquid water. And even with the heat even more intense, it becomes water vapor. But when the temperature go down, the water vapor becomes liquid water, or even if we have dramatic change, it can become ice directly. That's the change, the transformation. Our human need this transformation. Without the transformation, how can the food you eat, like the meat you consume, becomes the muscle, becomes the blood? You're not drinking blood. Everything has been changed like that. That's the transformation part. In the autumn, that's the harvest season. When you say harvest, you cut it everything. You cut, everything's fall down, it's ripped. It's going down. And then in the winter, it's a storage season. In the winter, you storage. In our body, winter related with kidney. When you say storage, it means that you will consume them in a wise way. Store it means you will not use it that often. In winter, you will reduce activities. You would like to stay in a more quiet state, like a more inhibited state when you compare to the activities in summer. In summer, go, go, go. Maybe winters, you want to storage your stuff, so you may be more in a quiet state. Or even you compare this with the daytime and the nighttime. Nighttime is also storage place, so you go to sleep. And daytime, you have many activities. That's the idea of storage. Our human is one, live in between the heaven and earth. We have to follow the rules and not think about our human super smarter than the rules. We have to follow the rules, then we can expect healthy longevity of life. Not only live long, we live healthy and have a good quality of life.
Hi, Mary. You said that the winter is associated with the characteristic of storage. Are you suggesting people to live a more hibernation type of life? For people who are active in winter sports, such as skiing in Chinese medicine, is that considered to be not healthy?
For example, you go skiing, it's good idea to ski in the daytime. Keep warm as much as you can. Comparatively speaking, if you ski at night, even though it's cheaper at night, but it's much colder. And we know cold consumes body yang qi. We need yang qi to survive. So-called yang qi, yang means active. When we say yang means you have warm, you have temperature, you have activities. That's called yang. We need a yang qi. The coldness killed the yang qi directly. Let's say winter, you go outside, walking outside. Not long. It doesn't take long for you to feel cold. If you still stay outside, you go like freezing. That kind of freezing means your body getting colder, your activities become less. Not just the movement becomes lumpy, but also the internal organs slow down the working. Organs, if you look at this, they also need to function like a machine, need to move. With the coldness, they will slower in movement. If the function slow down, let's say spring, if it's slow down, then they will have less ability to transport the used water out of the body. With the time, you are expecting accumulation of dampness and you are expecting many consequences because of the hyperfunction of the spring. And this hyperfunction of the spring is because of the cold consumes your body yang qi. So you see connection like that. Once you understand this, you will arrange your activities wisely. In winter, on rainy days and windy days, I see people jogging outside, wear really less. That was bad idea. Mentally, they want to be healthy, but in fact, there's many things. You see, when you're running, your joints opening, the coldness, wind, just go in. So what's the point of exercising that way? Exercise is good. You can do it like at home or in a gym or wear really properly walking outside. Those ideas make you think. It's not like you have to do that. That's personal choice. Your life, you command it. But there's a logic. Maybe arrange your life in a wise way. Or if you look at the pulse, in summer with the heat, weather getting warmer, hotter, the blood running inside the vessel, of course, will go faster and it becomes more forceful. When you touch on the pulse, naturally in summer, you will feel bigger, more forceful, faster pulse compared to you palpate the pulse in winter. In winter, with the coldness, the cold contracts. The pulse will be slower a little bit and would be weak a little bit. That's just nature. When you palpate the patient, before you make your diagnosis, you need to know it's summer or it's winter. You use those factors to adjust your diagnosis. Make sense? That's how the seasons will have impact on our blood flow. Summer, it's more forceful, surging. In the autumn, it's more superficial. And in winter, the pulse will go deep. In the spring, it's more like a line, so we call it wiry. Another issue is about the day and the night. Day and night has a big influence on us. In every 2 hours, the meridian qi will go to different organs. Early morning, 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock at night. It is at night, but then it's also the beginning of a day. That's gallbladder time. From 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, it's the liver time. From 3 to 5 is the lung time. 5 to 7 is large intestine time. And the 7 to 9 o'clock is the stomach time. That's another reason to say it's good for you to have your breakfast in the morning. At 7 to 9 is the stomach time. At the 12 meridians, each has their times. Day and night helps us to decide many different things. 9 to 11 is the spring, and 11 to 1 o'clock is the heart time. And from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, it's a small intestine. Saying this is because, like a Chinese culture, people like to take a no nap. It makes a lot of sense to let your heart take a break. Small intestine paired with heart. If you think the heart is yin, small intestine is yang. Small intestine, the time is from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. During this period of time, if you take a nap, especially 11 to 1 o'clock, your heart can take a break. We know that sometimes we are so tired, you go to bed lying down for a while, your heart can run better, more peaceful with your heart. This has the reason to support that, because that's the heart time and the small intestine. Then from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock is the unitary bladder time. Unitary bladder is running the whole back, and it's kind of like a tree from the head and all the way go to the foot. There's a lot of back through point. Our internal organs like lung, pericardium, heart, liver, gallbladder, all the organs has connection with the unitary bladder. There's a saying, say, the unitary bladder channel kind of like a sewage system in our body. This system most active from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Like the best time for exercises, 3 to 5. 3 to 5 in the afternoon work best for the urinary bladder channel. It helps the sewage system to empty your body. The second best time to choose is daytime, not nighttime. So nighttime exercises is a bad idea. Trying to arrange time in the daytime, the best is 3 to 5 in the afternoon. Moving downwards, you're going to see 5 to 7 kidney time, 7 to 9 is the pericardium, and then 9 to 11 is the triple energizer or sanjiao. Then from the 11 to 1 o'clock, again, is the gallbladder time. You make a big circle. Each organ has their spotlight. When they had the spotlight, this organ has the most nourishment of qi and blood. When the qi and the blood is strong, they start to fight. For example, if one organ has a disease, when the organ's qi is weak, they're just being bullied by pathogens. Nothing they can do. But now their spotlight come. Relatively speaking, they have their good time. They have more nourishment of qi and blood. They will start to fight. During that period, if there's a disease, the disease will show up because they started to fight. When they started to fight, there will be symptoms showed outside. So that's why we say liver time from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. If people, they just wake up, sometimes like as though there's a lung being set up, they will wake up automatically. That's the reason why we say the liver has a problem. You need to do the treatment. Not wait until the X-ray, MRI tells you that, oh, there's a fibrosis, there's a nodule inside the liver. By that time, honestly, it's too late. You still have a chance, but the chance is much, much less. So treat before that happens. Here, we talk about the day and the night. There's a morning, there's afternoon, and the night, early morning. It's in a circular movement. When the early morning starts, the yang qi started to grow until it reaches the noontime. Then the yang qi started to go down, become less, and at the same time, yin qi started to grow. Then day and night is actually the change of yin and yang. Yang associated with active is good for you to work. But at night, it's associated with yin, because at night, you staying on the bed, it's relatively more quiet. In that situations, at night, you are going to reduce your activities. Here, it's another way about the movement. There's different kinds of qi. Now we are talking about the defensive qi. So-called defensive qi, it is similar like immune system. Our body surrounds by a qi to fight against the invasion of those evil qi, those pathogens. The defensive qi is running around. At the daytime, it's moving along those yang channels. It's from Taiyang to the Shaoyang and to the Yangming. Basically, it's running outside of the body. But when night comes, the qi go inside to nourish our Zang-fu organs, the kidney, heart, lung, liver, and the spleen. And when dawn comes, when you open your eyes, Wei qi, defensive qi, will go to the body surface again to circulate outside. This is also the idea about the day and the night. So at the daytime, you can be more active because yang qi is outside. With yang qi, a lot of yang qi, you can move. If people has less yang qi or not enough yang qi, they will tend to stay quiet, stay inactive. Example, like aged people. By nature, aged people has less yang qi compared to youth. You can see aged people, they will just sit even in daytime falling asleep without knowing it because the yang qi is not sufficient. Day and night has impact on our body. At night, you don't want to do a lot of exercises. When you do exercises, yang qi stays outside, cannot go in to nourish your Zang-fu organs. You were trying to avoid that happen. Another perspective is about the geographical environment. Geography has an influence on us. That goes without saying.
According to Huangdi's Inner Classic of Medicine, Plain Question, Chapter 12, different geographical environments usually lead to particular diseases. Thus, the treatment methods are different accordingly.
The east part in China is the coastal area. In the coastal areas, fishing is their main industry. They like eating fish. And old days, it's a luxury to have fresh fish. Usually, those fish processed with salt. Those people from coastal side eat a lot of fish and also consumes too much salt. So they usually have a blackish complexion. They tend to have carbuncles because of the hot. The fish is easily generating interior heat. They likely has carbuncle problems. With this, we use the skin needle, use 3-edged needle to do bloodletting to solve those carbuncle problems, or use guasa or use cup to solve those kind of problems. In the west part of China, they usually have a lot of desert. You see there's sand, stones, metals. People live in the place quite windy. Plus, the water in the west usually has higher level of calcium and magnesium. That's the hard water, not the soft water. With this kind of geography background they are living, their bodies usually has thick body fat. The thick body fat can defend the invasion of the wind and the coldness. They usually have problems inside problems. That's why they usually use the poisonous herbs. When we mention poisonous herbs, that's Chinese idea, thinking herbs is a kind of medicine different from the food. The food usually are neutral because the healthy people is a balanced people. The food you eat, you consume also a balanced food, neutral food. Anything like too bitter, too salty, too sour, away from neutral will destroy the balance. In that situations, causing problem. In that sense, we say it's a poisonous. Any medicine has that kind of poisonous side. We say poisonous or toxic herbs is just emphasizing the side effects of their inclination of destroying the balance. not really say it's toxin or poison.
In the north, it's cold.
When weather is cold, people usually in that situation drinks a lot of milk, and the milk is actually cold. It will make our viscera cold and full. This geography background makes the moxibustion very useful.
Moxa is a special yang herb.
It's similar to the yang of the sun. While you're doing the moxibustion, it helps to relieve the coldness, expel the coldness. Moxibustion is widely used to solve the cold-related disease. This is one, looking at where the people come from, people so flexible with the air flight moving everywhere, you will ask where they come from, and also looking for what kind of disease they are, use different treatment method to treat it. Those are the things we need to ask. For people from the south is usually hot, more humid. In that kind of environment, in order to store the food, they usually make the fermented food. They like the acidic and the fermented food like this. So with this, people from south, they usually have a fine skin, very delicate skin and muscle, and their complexion usually are reddish. And the diseases they likely to have is the numbness and the paralysis. To treat those diseases, the needles would be very useful. This is the 9 needles used in the old days. They are very big. The biggest one would be 7 chin like this. Last one is in the center, because center is blessed area. Center, the earth, it's quite rich. You plant things, they grow by themselves. People there, they don't need to work much. They eat rich food, but without working hard. They don't need to work hard. People usually suffer from flaccid problems, like a muscle flaccid weakness of the muscle, and they have a problems, aversion to cold and heat. In that situations, the qi blood circulation is quite poor because they don't need to work that much. Tuina is a good idea. Tuina, sometimes you explain to your patient, you say tuina, they don't know what does that mean. I usually explain it as massage along the meridians and the acupoints. The idea saying here is you use different methods to treat different disease. Another factor we'll talk about is the climate change. Climate change also closely associated with the onset of the human disease. Climate change usually takes much longer, like 30 years, 40 years to see the change. When we diagnose this or treat the disease, you're not just looking inside the body, but also looking the environment. That is why in TCM, you need to adjust your treatment to season, to the locality, and to individuals. There's no standard treatment. Oh, this is the formula. I'll use it for anybody. It's not. But you need to do adjustment. Now let's discuss something about the close relationship of humans with society. For this part, it's mainly related to the mental part. When we connect with people, we are influenced by other people, with or without connecting with people. Sometimes some people are more isolated. They have social connection anxiety, or because of the modern societies, now people working alone, depending on how people interact with those kind of emotions, it actually has impact on our body, on our Zang-fu organs. Chinese medicine pay close attention to the human's social attribution. The mental activities and the emotions will have a deep connection with how our Zang-fu organs function. Other than that part, we're looking at the social advance, like the modern way of living and the modern way of diet, evolution, etc. Those kind of things has effect on humans in general. The order of society, it's a safe place, safe society, or a chaos society has impact on human, and also people's personal status, like financially, the security of income, etc., also has impact on the person. For example, people under stress, too tired, too much work to do, they are under big stress. But then you will see another people, they don't have job security. They don't know where's the money come from for tomorrow. For that situations, the same. They have the stress, different kinds of stress. All of them has an impact on their personal health. It's understandable, so we'll not go into detail. Just like we say, everything's are categorized into 5 elements. Chinese medicine recognizes the action of social activity on the mind, the reaction of mind to the physical health, the mutual relationship and the influence between mental activities and the physiological activities. TCM contribute the different emotions into different organs. For example, the anger will affect the liver the most. Joy, the happiness, affect the heart. Thinking affect the spleen. Sorrow affect the lung. Fear will affect the kidney. All those emotions are guided by the heart. Heart is the one, because we say heart is the king or the emperor of the body. So everything is guided by the heart, especially the spirit or the sun. The sun is governed by the heart. However, the other organs also associated with different emotions. Those emotions, they belong to different elements. They will affect each other and inhibit each other, promote each other as well. For example, like too much anger damages the liver. If the people has a liver problem, they will also reflect it as has a big temper, losing control all the time. When those emotions, like a vicious chain, further affects the liver. That's why the body and the mind is interactive with each other. Talk about the holism, you will need to think about internally, inside the human, all the different parts of the body organs, they interact with each other, affect each other, and also put humans in the environment, the nature environment and the social environment. Also, we interact with our social and the natural surroundings. So that's the concept of holism. If you find this video helpful, please give me a like, subscribe to it, and share it with others. See you in my next video. All the best.